This is a suffragette line train to Barking Riverside. The next stop is Barking Riverside.
Barking Riverside is one of London's newest stations, opening in July 2022, and it serves a new development which is, well, by the riverside, and you actually get a great view over the River Thames looking to Crossness pumping station on the other side. I feel like the view from here might get obstructed at some point with all of the new housing which is being built. This station was designed with future-proofing in mind, as the platforms are longer than the trains, so at some point if the trains were to get an extra carriage they would still fit here. The station was not the only transport infrastructure that opened here in 2022. A couple of months earlier in April, a pier opened here for the Uber boat services. Now, I didn't get to come and see the pier when I came here shortly after the station's opening, as at the time boat services from here only ran during the peak hours. There was none during the middle of the day, but now there is, albeit only an hourly service. That is exactly what I'm here to catch today, a boat from Barking to Battersea. Now, I have previously rode the Uber boat service, well, back then it was Thames Clipper, from Battersea to Woolwich before, back in early 2019, and then later on that year from Putney to Canary Wharf. But with the opening of Barking Riverside Pier here, this makes it the new eastern extremity of the London boat services. But there have been trials in the past to run them beyond here towards Gravesend, which is outside of London. Now that would be very exciting to do, and they are looking at bringing that in as a regular service, but it will run express. There is an Erith pier, but they can't stop there. But I would love to go under the Dartford crossing and all the way out to Gravesend. Although you have this new jetty here for the Uber boat services, this pier actually stands on a much older pier, which would have initially opened in 1940 to serve Barking Power Station, which would have been on this site. It's very different now with all the new development. So really today we're going from Barking Power Station to Battersea Power Station. You can see our full route up there on the purple line from Barking Riverside all the way to Battersea Power Station, the RB1 service, which will bring me through just the central and east zones, which on Oyster will cost me £10.25. You can see if I was to change and continue to Putney, it would be considerably more at £17.30. Or if I just stuck to the east zone, which in this case would be as far as Canary Wharf, it would be just £5.60. But Canary Wharf actually straddles the central and east zones. Now, a single for just the central zone would be £9, so my advice would be, if you're going to be travelling along that section, why not make the most of it and do either the western and eastern side as well for only £1.25 more. And of course you want to do the central section because that will allow you to see all of the sights of central London, which we're going to get to see. So maybe at some point we'll actually come back and we'll do the Putney to Canary Wharf section for the same price of £10.25, just to cover the western section and to get to do the central bit as well. It's good that Canary Wharf just squeezes into the central bit. So I guess I'll just wait here at the very quiet Barking Riverside Pier for my boat now to Battersea. Well, here it comes. I wonder if there's anyone on it. I feel like there's not much reason to really come to Barking Riverside, unless you want to, of course. The best thing about these Uber boats is that you can just stand outside. There are seats here. This is fun, it's going to be exciting. And we're off. Goodbye Barking Riverside. Barking Creek barrier, the end of the river roading. I don't even know if you can hear me. Then you got Thamesmead on the other side. I do wonder, with future development happening over there, will they get a pier one day? Oh, I can feel the spray of the river. Those are the remains of an old railway pier by Beckton Gasworks. We got exclusive access to that last year. And there's all the new development at Galleon's Reach. Potentially we'll be back there again soon. Leaving our first stop at Woolwich. So that section between Barking and here I've not done before. And if we're in Woolwich, that means we're crossing paths with the much slower Woolwich ferry. I say that, we've just slowed down ourselves. Brilliant Tate and Lyle factory over there. We're about to pass right through the Thames barrier. Departing our second stop, Royal Wharf, which is one of the newest piers, opened back in 2019, again to serve a whole brand new development here. The London cable car can only mean that we're approaching North Greenwich. Canary Wharf. Everything I've done so far is well worth the £5.60 it would cost me if I left here. We've still got so much more to go yet. We're only just over there for the winter lights. And there's the tiny little Doubletree Docklands ferry that just goes across the river. Considering that just goes across the river from here at Canary Wharf for like £4 something. And I've just done all of this from Barking Riverside for, at this point, £5.60 or something. This is definitely the better option. Right, it's express from here to the Tower of London now, and then it will slow down a lot as we reach central London. London Eye's creeping into frame. we don't stop at the London Eye, only the eastbound services do. Neither have we stopped at Blackfriars, as that's peak hours only. That was a lot of fun. From Barking Riverside to Battersea Power Station along the River Thames on an Uber boat. It took about an hour and a half and it was about 17 miles long. It's brought me to one of the largest brick buildings in the world. This is quite possibly my favourite building in London. I just love this so much. It's so impressive to stand underneath it. It did lay derelict for quite a long time after the power station initially closed in 1983. There was a lot of plans with what to do with it, what to turn it into, including a theme park. There was going to be designated shuttle trains which would serve it from London Victoria. Even Chelsea Football Club was looking at purchasing the grounds here and turning it into a new stadium. But again, 2022, just like Barking Riverside, this eventually reopened as a shopping centre and apartments up top. And just like with Canary Wharf, which we saw last week, Battersea also has a kind of winter lights trail which you can come and look at here until the 23rd of February. I'm sure this is one of them, not lit up right now. Oh, it kind of is actually, but you just can't make it out with the blue sky. What I love when you come into Battersea Power Station is that you can see how it was once all stripped away on the walls, and also where old staircases used to be up to the higher floors. At least I don't have to wait till night time to come and have a look at the winter lights inside of Battersea Power Station. Now, one of the chimneys here at the power station has actually been converted into a lift, lift 109, because it's 109 metres in the sky and you can go up it, but it's £23.50. That's over double what I just paid for my boat trip. Not really worth it. This will be the other winter light on the opposite side of the shopping centre. And at this point you can see in them windows up there old gauges and stuff, which I don't think would have belonged to the original power station. As I said, the building was completely stripped out after closure. I think that's just a nice touch that they did to indicate that yes, this is indeed an old power station, which is just great to walk around. It's very imposing to stand underneath it, and it's great to come here at night time, which if you're going to for the winter lights, remember you only got until the 23rd of February. There's another one here. I've seemed to come here once every year since Battersea Power Station opened here in 2021. The first time for the two new stations on the Northern Line extension. The following year for when Battersea Power Station itself opened up as a shopping centre, ending a walk here. And then the year after that was for an architecture treasure hunt across the London Underground in celebration of 160 years. And it's only just celebrated 162 years actually. Just up the road from the new Battersea station lies the remains of an old Battersea station. This would have been the entrance here into a station called Battersea Park Road. And on the other side of the railway bridge lies an old sign, Network South East logo, for the Dogs Home Battersea, predating when it was a dogs and cats home. To add to that though, there have been more disused stations around here. Before the railway first crossed the River Thames to reach Victoria, there was an original Pimlico station terminus, which only survived for 2 years before the railway did cross the Thames in 1860 to Victoria, and a Battersea Park and Steamboat Pier station replaced it, and there was even a Grosvenor Road station on the north side of the Thames, all now closed. There are still stations around here though, so just up the road again a tiny little bit you have Battersea Park Station on the Southern network, but there is one rare early morning train and then another one at midnight that belongs to the London Overground, because instead of going into Clapham Junction it terminates here at Battersea Park. Definitely a rare service I'd be interested in doing at some point, but because of the weird times of it I've never bothered doing it. I quite like the ticket hall of Battersea Park Station. It's quite historical looking. Battersea Power Station and Battersea Park are not the only stations in this area though. You also have Queenstown Road, sometimes known as Queenstown Road Battersea, on the South Western Railway network, but you can see that when it was the London and South Western Railway it was known as just Queen's Road, I think up until 1980 when the road name changed. It's not as grand as Battersea Park Station, but I do like the old ticket windows here, which is now just part of a coffee shop. Clearly Battersea is very well connected, especially as there's even a bus garage and a train depot here for Southern and Gatwick Express services. That's an old logo, and the sign here even mentions old trains which once would have been stored here, 455s and 442s, which no longer exist. And a short walk through Heathbrook Park brings me to another station in these parts, Wandsworth Road, which is on the London Overground, and this train pulling in came from Clapham Junction and not Battersea Park.